Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah and I am a 7th year first grade teacher who is trying to be better about YouTube and prioritizing one long form video a month on here. So I've already posted one this month and it was my New Year's Eve vlog, but technically that was from last year. So we're gonna start off fresh in January. I wanted to film New Year's Day and talk about my goals for this year, but I got the stomach bug on New Year's Day, January 1st. So it is January 3rd, just a couple days behind, but we are gonna do a little hang out with me while we talk about my New Year's goals. So if you don't know me very well, I am super type A, so I absolutely love not only making New Year's goals every single year, but I also love making sure that they are like measurable and trackable. And I've done this a bunch of different ways over the past few years. I know vision boards are super in right now. I tried making one 2 years ago and I just didn't love it. I'm more of like a checklist girl, so the vision board was aesthetic, but it wasn't really like great for me as like a type A person. The other thing that I tried is I did a bingo card last year, which isn't really so much for goals as it was more for like just fun things I wanted to try. For example, like I wanted to go to more Christian concerts, so I was able to cross that off. I wanted to be able to like visit a new state, things like that. It was more like bucket list items than necessarily goals. And while I did like that, I didn't have a lot of success. Like I didn't get to cross off everything I put on my bingo card last year, and I didn't even get bingo. Like I didn't even get 5 in a row. So it was a great idea, but I didn't get a lot of it done, which showed me that it wasn't necessarily a lot of high priority things. And then the past years, I've also done monthly goals. So instead of making like big goals for the entire year, I will make a monthly goal for 4 categories. I do financial goals, spiritual goals, health goals. That can be like physical and mental health goals. And then social media goals. And so I would pick one short-term goal I wanted to accomplish every single month. And I did that back in 2023. And that was probably the most success I've had. Problem with doing that is you have to keep up with it. I was constantly trying to think of new goals and it was just kind of overwhelming. And I think the more I've watched people on social media talk about goals, the more I want to be a little more simplistic with my goals this year. Maybe not focus so much about the tracking piece of it and the measurable piece of it, but just like creating 3 goals in each of those 4 categories that I can work on all year. I saw this one account that I follow that I love. I think it's Just Ingredients. And she talked about how every year she came up with one goal and she dedicated her whole entire year to it. And she was always successful. And I think for me right now, because I was so unsuccessful with my goals or bingo card from last year, I really just want to feel successful this year and not feel like I'm putting too much on my plate. So that is what we're going to do. I've also seen a lot of people just talk about, instead of doing goals, like their ins and their outs, like things that they want to be in for 2026 and out for 2026, maybe things that they didn't like in 2025 that they don't want to bring with them, maybe things in 2025 that they're really good that they wanted to bring into them with 2026. And so I've also been thinking about that, like, okay, what are some things, what are some routines, some habits, some goals that I accomplished in 2025 that I want to take with me and carry over, and some things that I just want to kind of leave in the past. I would give you guys some context about the goals that I made last year in 2025 so that you could know kind of like the things that I'm going to keep from that and then maybe not worry about this upcoming year. For my spiritual goals, I said I wanted to read the entire Bible, and I did do that. It's not my first time doing it, but I've done it a couple times, and I used a different study this year that's actually been my favorite way to read through the Bible so far, and it was called like the Beautiful Bible in the Year, I think. I can link it down below for y'all, but it was a really, really great way to do it. Last year, I also wanted to read 12 devotionals, so like 12 faith-based books, and I think I did maybe 6. So not as many as I wanted to, but I am proud of myself for trying to read more than just like recreational reading, because typically that's all I do on my Kindle. I also put on my goals for 2025 to go to a Christian conference, and I felt like all year whenever I would look into them, there just were none like in my area. So I'm going to try and be better about that at the beginning of the year and ask for some recommendations for people around me that I trust. I did say I wanted to go to more Christian concerts in 2025, and I didn't count them, but I think I went to like at least 3 or 4, which I was super happy about. I wanted to post my Sunday encouragements in 2025 every single Sunday. Well, I didn't do it every single Sunday. I did it quite a bit. And those, if you don't know, those are on my Instagram. Every Sunday I would just post like a IG carousel of picture posts of just like quotes or scripture or sermon notes that really stuck out to me the past week. So those were my spiritual goals for 2025. I did hit about half of them, but we'll talk later in the video about what I want to change for 2026. For my health goals, I wanted to calorie count and track my macros for the entire year, and I did that, and I have my spreadsheet to prove it. Also wanted to track my weight throughout the entire year because I personally don't really like weighing myself, and so, but I didn't want to track my calories all year and not also track my weight. I feel like they kind of go together. So I did track my weight throughout the entire year. I at least tracked it like once a week for the entire year. As well as my other goal was to take progress pictures, and I did that as well to kind of see like how my body transformed from different versions of myself when I would lose weight and gain weight. Back in 2024, I had started my weight loss journey because I had gained like 20 pounds post-marriage, which a lot of people do, which is fine. But I wanted to be the healthiest version of myself before starting a family. And so last year, it looks like I started off 2025 weighing 161 pounds, and then I started this year off at I think 150 flat. My goal is to get down to 145, which I think like in May of 2025, I did get down to like 146 at one point, but I've kind of coasted at like 148 to 152 all year. And what I didn't know back when I started this goal at like 161 pounds was how much I would love how I feel and look at like that 150 pound range. So while I did make that goal to get to that weight last year, it's not going to be one of my goals in 2026. Instead, I'm just going to keep trying to focus on fueling my body and feeling my best versus like a specific number. Last year, I also made a health goal to try and do at least one holistic or non-toxic healthier swap every month, and I did do that. I did a lot of things like swapping out for wooden utensils, wooden cutting boards. I did a lot of swapping out of my like dryer balls, detergent, dishwasher pods, deodorants, perfumes, candles, all that kind of stuff, and definitely feel better about our home and being less toxic than it was before. I did put on my 2025 goals in under the health category to try making sourdough, which I did not do, but I think it would be really fun to learn how to make things homemade. The problem is I don't know if I can get my husband on board with it, so I'm not sure that's going to be one of my actual 2026 goals. It might just be something I do for fun recreationally, like something to learn. Another 2025 goal I had for my health was to get pregnant, which like now looking back on that, I should have never put as a goal because it is 1000% out of your control and nothing you can do to make that happen. So I think like putting that pressure on myself to expect that to happen in 2025 was too much for me mentally. While it is a hope and a prayer for 2026, I'm not going to put it as a goal because it is out of my control and that is completely up to the Lord's timing and the Lord's will. So one of my 2025 goals I did not hit, but again, wasn't really anything I could do about that. Last up are my financial and my social media goals. Financial goals at the beginning of the year, I really wanted to get rid of any unused subscriptions, and I didn't do this really throughout the year. There were just a couple at the beginning of the year in 2025 I knew we needed to get rid of, so that was like a quick one. And then the other two are a little bit more personal. It was about how much I wanted to save as a family together, and then how much I wanted for us to make as a family together. And while I don't want to share those numbers, I will say that we were really, really close to hitting both of those. We were just a little bit short on the earnings, which then put us a little bit shorter on the savings, but that's okay because we were really, really close. And we did better financially in 2025 than we did in 2024, which is really all that matters. Some are my social media goals. And again, these are kind of personal just because I do social media for a job part-time, but I wanted to work with more brands in 2025. And to be honest, I didn't actually total up how many brands I worked with. My goal was 33 because that's how many I had worked with the prior year. I'll have to count them up on my spreadsheet and see if I actually hit that goal or not. I wanted to start an email subscription, which I did do, but I kind of stopped like halfway through the year because I just kind of got tired of doing it. I was doing Amazon deals and sharing codes for Amazon products once a week, and I only got up to like 300 subscribers via email, and the emails were just taking a really long time to create. And I didn't feel like I was making enough money on Amazon to justify it. So I kind of switched gears there. And instead, my next goal was to make a blog page, like make a website. And I did do that. I haven't talked about it all on social media, but I did make a website. I think it's just BigHeartLowMinds.com. And I've been working on it behind the scenes. I haven't actually like launched it per se, like posted about it at all, but it is live and active and running. And I've started to post some like blog posts on there and resources and things like that. So I think instead of doing like a specific email subscription like I was doing in 2025. I might sort of hard launch my website and then create like an email subscription through that, maybe that can like be shared with people. That's more education related versus like Amazon deals. Jury's still out on that one. And then my last goal for 2025 was to make 12 long form YouTube videos, which did not happen. I think I got like 6. So we're going to work better on that this year though. Okay, next task is laundry. I think I've given you guys all of the context as far as like things I've done in the past for New Year's goals and resolutions. And now I can kind of give you the context of what I want to do in 2026. They're underneath those same categories of like social media, spiritual, health, and financial goals. The only one that I'm still really thinking about are the financial goals. I think like as a Christian, having aspirations to like be more financially stable and save more money and make more money are great things, but I also feel like I need to be cautious because like as a Christian, I think I'm called to give and to be more generous and to not be so consumed like the world is with money. So I kind of have those on pause right now. The only thing that I did put for a financial goal that I would encourage everybody to think about, we set up a high yield savings account in the middle of 2025. And obviously it depends on how much money you have to put into it. But ideally the more money you can put in, the more money you will make in interest. And it is a completely free account to make. It's called Wealthfront, and there's a variety of different high yield savings accounts. So I'm just sharing this one with you because it's what we ended up doing. And like we really did our research on it and we have friends that use it and really recommend it. And I do have a referral code, which will give both of us like an APY boost. So I will put that down below as well. But I'm not just trying to sell this to you to like, I benefit nothing from this besides the interest rate boost if you do this. But just like to give you some context, me and my husband started it, I think in June or July, so just half of the year. We made almost $3,000 just in interest alone. And Wealthfront is really great because they have really competitive rates and there's no fees or anything like that to transfer money out or to transfer money in. It just takes a couple days on both ends. I'm sure they probably have a cap as to how much money you can put in there, but we have not hit that problem yet. And so my goal for 2026 is to make $5,000 in interest, because to me that's just free money. And so my goal is that every month we make a little bit more, we're just moving it over into our savings account. And then after a couple months, we'll move a big chunk from our savings into our high yield savings account. So that's just a little plug. If you're trying to get better about your finances, you want to make some free passive income. Again, it might not be that big of a number for you guys if you are watching this and you don't have a huge lump sum to deposit into a high yield savings account, but it is something that has probably been long overdue for us. As people who are dual income, no kids, there's no need that we need to have like a large sum of ready available money in our savings account. Yes, we're homeowners, but I just think it's good for everybody to have, and I really wish, as somebody who's pretty financially savvy, I wish I had done it sooner. So if you've heard about it or you were thinking about it, let this be your sign. Look into it. Again, it's called Wealthfront. I will put it down below, as well as my referral link, so that if you wanted to do it, you could sign up with it. We would both get a little extra money. I buried my phone in the laundry, which is where I was reading my goals off from. Okay, let's do my social media goals. Again, this might not apply to a lot of people because I know not a lot of people do social media per se, but I will say I feel like there are always people that are looking to learn how to do social media and grow. And so if that's you, then you might want to make some goals around this area. The first one is I want to diversify my revenue streams. At the end of 2025, I did sign with a management, and I'm a little nervous just because I have not worked with management in a long time. And it is a little bit of a risk as a creator because you're basically saying that they get to take the wheel and they kind of control how much money you're going to possibly make. And so for the last couple months, I haven't really made any money in brand deals, which has been a little bit of a hit. And so going into 2026, I know that if I'm not going to be making as much in brand deals for a little bit, that I need to really like up my other streams of income. So for me, that's teachers pay teachers and making sure that I'm not only promoting my products that I already have, but then also sharing out new products. For me, that's Amazon on my Instagram deals channel, and then also making sure that like I'm posting like current links of things that I'm buying on Amazon. I feel like I forget to do that all the time. Another one for me is like utilizing ManyChats. So I pay for that. It's a subscription, and that's what I use to send y'all links automated through my Instagram Reels or Instagram posts. And so because I'm paying for that, like to me, it's such a waste if I'm not using it. So just trying to make like 1 to 2 Instagram Reels a week where like I am automatically sending people links to things, whether it's TBT products or Amazon or even like Shop My links. I got into Shop My in 2025, which is kind of like to know it, but I like it a little bit better as like a user and as a creator. My goal is just to, again, like I said, diversify my revenue streams, make sure that I'm not just banking on brand deals because they might not be as consistent as in years past now that I've signed with management, and I just don't want to accidentally screw myself. With that same thought process of like diversifying revenue streams, like I do have a really great couple affiliate partnerships. One of them is Clean Simple Eats, and I love them. I don't really make a lot of money because I don't share my link a lot, but like I want to get better at that because it is a brand that I really love and want to support more. So I'm going to try and be better about that. The other one is Truly Free Products. I started working with them in 2025, and they are where I buy most of my like non-toxic product swaps from, like my detergent, my everyday cleaner, my dishwasher pods. And I do make commission from them, but like I don't post about them a lot, so I don't make a lot of money off of them. I just truly enjoy buying their products. So I would like to post more about them in 2026 as well. And I will share both of those codes since I want to practice what I'm preaching right now. I will share both of those codes for Clean Simple Eats and for Truly Free down below. I think Clean Simple Eats is 10% off, and then Truly Free I want to say is 30% off, which is really good. So now we've covered social media and we've covered my financial goals. The next category is spiritual. I have 3. They're all pretty self-explanatory. First one is study the Bible, not just read the Bible. So the counselor that I've been seeing recommended a really great series through the Bible app. So it is free if you want to do this. But essentially, like, I'll put the link to it down below. You just pick a book of the Bible and you study your way through it instead of like reading through it, which I love that I've done, but I don't always necessarily feel like I'm learning a lot. So I really want to get better at like going slower through each book of the Bible, even if it takes me a couple years, and learn more about like the history and the context and the setting. I just think that'll be really valuable for me at this season of life. And it's something I wish I started doing sooner in my walk. So that is one of my goals. And like I said, I can put the link down below because it's just through the free Bible app on your phone. And it doesn't cost anything. And I'm only like 4 days in, but I've really enjoyed it so far. I started off in the Psalms. So it's like a 43-day plan for the Psalms just because there's so many Psalms. And I don't even actually think that gets me through the whole Psalms. I think the first 43 days is just the first of 5 books of the Psalms. So like, I'm pretty sure I could learn about the Psalms all year this year. But I'll probably switch to something else maybe after these first 43 days. It's not a devotional that you read. It's actually something that you listen to, and it's about 10 minutes a day. And then I journal while I'm listening to it. My next spiritual goal is I want to try and join a Bible study this year. My church does one, and there's, I think, some young people that go to it, but I think it's more like middle-aged, like older women. Nothing against the people that go to that if they're watching, because it's probably the one I'll start going to. It's on like a Saturday morning. But my friend invited me to hers, and it's just like a couple girls, and it's local, and I was thinking about doing that one. So I am trying to find a Bible study to go to because I think that would be really good for me. And then my last spiritual goal I had is one last year, and I didn't accomplish it. It was the 12 devotionals. I really think I could do that this year because I was gifted some really great ones for Christmas, so I'm going to start with those and just try and get through one a month. I think because I'm doing this different Bible plan in the mornings, I will try and get through those in the afternoons. And hopefully if I can get better with my nighttime routine and getting off my phone, that will free up some more time for devotionals this year. Last up are my health goals, which I always feel like take the most thought process for me because if you know anything about me at all, like I really strive to be a healthy individual with my workout habits and my eating and my mindset. So I feel like I, unfortunately, even though it's probably not good, I put the most stock in my health goals. But anyway, here's what I've come up with so far. They're very, very simple. They're not really trackable. They're just kind of like some overarching ideas for this year. One is to do more whole foods because I do want to get pregnant this year. I am trying to like have a better balanced diet. I feel like last year I focused on like low calorie, high protein, And I've learned that like sometimes eating the fat-free dressing or like skipping out on essential things like salt and butter aren't necessarily good for like your hormones and your cycle and things like that. So I'm really going to try and learn more. I read some really great books this past summer. One was called Food for Fertility, and I'll link it down below. And then I'm reading another one right now that's called like 9 Months is Not Enough. And so I really want to get better about like my eating and eating better things for my body. And that's going to start with whole foods. So my goal, and I am shamelessly using ChatGPT for this, so no shame if you do that as well, but I am using ChatGPT to kind of like help me find 1 to 2 whole foods a week to introduce and just see how I like them. And then hopefully by the end of the year, I've tried all these new foods that I wouldn't necessarily normally like or try. I'll probably make like a TikTok about like my meal prepping like I usually do, because I haven't gone to the grocery store yet, but my goal is to meal prep next week for the first week of school for breakfast and lunch. So I'll be sure to make a video about some of the new foods that I'm trying. This next health goal is a epiphany that I had at the end of the year. So a little backstory. I've always been very good at drinking water. I really enjoy water. I don't drink coffee or tea or anything like that, energy drinks, soda. So it's not hard for me to get in my water. But what I started doing this year was I started drinking electrolytes first thing in the morning on my way to and at the gym. And that kind of screwed me because then I felt so hydrated right off the bat in the morning that I didn't really touch my water throughout the day. Which, like, if you're a teacher, you can understand and empathize. Like, sometimes it's just genuinely really hard to drink your water at school because you're so busy and you're talking all day and you're moving around. So it definitely doesn't help. But I definitely just got off the drinking water bandwagon this year. And I think it's because I got to school finishing my electrolytes and felt so hydrated. But the electrolytes alone, I don't feel like keep me hydrated as good as like drinking what I used to drink, which was like 75 to 100 ounces of water a day. Now I've gone from drinking 75 to 100 ounces of regular water to only drinking like 25 to 30 ounces of electrolyte water. I don't feel like that's better for me in the long run. So what I started to trial run over Christmas break that I think I'm going to carry into 2026 with me is drinking a straight, solid, plain 40 ounces in my hydro jug or a Walla or whatever it is. Drinking 40 straight ounces of water in the morning. And then in the afternoon, drinking my electrolytes, because I really do like the taste of the electrolytes. So I think it'll be something to look forward to in the afternoon. Like, everybody's always got their afternoon pick-me-up that they're always posting about. Usually for other people, it's like an energy drink or a soda. For me, it will be my electrolytes. And I think that'll be better because it will force me to get in some water before school and then also still drink water in the afternoon. I really feel like me not being hydrated enough this past year is what caused my skin to break out. I've always had really, really clear skin. And I've never really had like a skincare routine or anything like that. And this year I really feel like my skin took a hit and I couldn't figure out why. I thought it was like hormonal or like cycle related or just because I was getting older or the products I was using. And I really do, after I've thought about it for a couple weeks now, I really do think it was because of my lack of water intake. I think I underestimated how hydrated my skin was because of all the water I drank and how that probably affected my skin when it took such a hit. So that is my second health goal. And my last health goal has to do with my morning routine and like my working out schedule. So again, just to give you some quick context, I am a gym girly. I have not always been that way, but ever since I started teaching, especially these last 4 years, I have really tried to go to the gym in the morning before school. And while I do enjoy the gym, here's what I do not like about the gym. I do not like having to get ready at the gym and shower at the gym in the morning because like I'm a morning showerer. So like I have to shower after the gym, before school, at the gym, and it's just not fun. Like, I feel like it makes my morning feel rushed and hectic and just not enjoyable. And with that means that I don't get to eat breakfast from home, and I really enjoy, like, over my breaks, like right now and over the summer, like making a home-cooked breakfast, making sure that it's super nutrient dense, not having to worry about meal prepping it on the weekends, just like sitting down and enjoying breakfast and not rushing. So I do kind of want to dabble with the idea of making breakfast from home. That might not stick. But obviously if I want to make breakfast from home, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, start working out from home. But just not unfortunate. Like, I think it'll be good to try something new. In 2025, it wasn't on, like, my goals or anything like that. I started doing a kickboxing class back in, like, September or October. I ended up really liking it. So I still have that to go to after school, which I think will be something nice to look forward to and do out of the house. But as far as, like, working out, I kind of want to try working out from home and doing like Pilates and things like that and some strength training from home with like my dumbbells and things like that. So that is my goal, and I'm hoping by working out from home, I will save a little bit more time. Instead of going to the gym, I'll be able to shower at home, get ready at home. I won't have to pack a gym bag anymore. I really won't have to pick out my outfits in advance. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't have to anymore. I don't have that pressure. And then I also will get to now make and cook breakfast and eat breakfast at home. I think it will inherently put me a little bit later to school than normal, but that's okay in my opinion. Like, I would rather be at school a little bit later and have already gotten to eat breakfast than arrive to school earlier like I have been and eat my breakfast at school. So we will see how Sarah feels about that going back to school in 2 days, because it's been really nice eating breakfast at home the last 2 weeks. And so I'm hoping that it'll be a positive shift for me, but I'm not 100% sure how getting to school later and like working out from home will truly go. All right, y'all, and that concludes my wrap up of all of my 2026 New Year's resolutions and goals. There are a couple more that I haven't like physically written down, like I want to do more outside time, things like that. But I'll probably add to them throughout the year, because who says you have to make all of your goals on January 1st? But thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Anything that I talked about in the vlog, I will try and put down below in the caption. Love you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Happy New Year!